This is Maniac for Bricks, or Joey. Anyways, I was going to do this on my other channel, Maniac for Bricks More, where I do a lot more video game and other hobby things, not normally something like this, because this channel usually has Lego content. However, I couldn't stream mobilely in order to record everything on there. I don't have enough subscribers on there. It only has 560 something right now. It's required for having 1,000. So, if you do want to see more video game related content and fun stuff I want to share there, check out Maniac for Bricks more. Some of it may still peek back through here, but that's going to be when those things are ready to go. I got a whole bunch of things cooking in the oven for that, but that'll be much later. For now, as far as raw material, we just got this, and most of it's going to be over there still after this point. Today, I'd like to take a look through the Winter 2003 brochure from Nintendo, especially after the 20th anniversary of the Game Boy Advance. I know this would have already been out for a few years by that point, but I knew about this. I had this for a long time. I really wanted to go over this, especially when I've seen other people doing read-throughs of different Nintendo brochures and catalogs and product guides and things like that, even in the past. I thought it'd be fun to share this one because this is from my favorite generation of Nintendo. I mean, I grew up with the NES. I grew up with the N64. I knew a little bit about the Super Nintendo, but the GameCube is my jam. The GameCube and the Game Boy Advance SP are some of my favorite gaming platforms, even to this day. I think there are still a lot of improvements since then, but I always have fun going back to these, even over other systems on the whole. So, if you want to share some of your memories in the comments down below from the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance SP, or even just the Game Boy Advance, as they show both of these here, or the GameCube, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to read about it. SNES was your jam. Thank you, Brick Studio, for joining, and thank you, Angry Dragon, for joining. So, this was a free catalog, which I believe was available in most retail stores, if I recall correctly. Something that would just be along the video game aisle. You could, free take one, and I did. I was really hyped for the GameCube, for when it was going to release, and I'll talk more about that, more of my memories on that in another video. Got a lot of good plans based on that. But for now, this is a pretty thick booklet. I looked through 97 pages of content, which is pretty awesome. And the slogan they had back then, "Who are you?" which I found kind of interesting as a gaming logo, or a gaming slogan, I should say. And this is something that they did across a lot of their marketing, a lot of their advertising. If I recall correctly, even in other magazines outside of Nintendo Power, outside of Electronics Gaming Monthly, and just like kids magazines, Nickelodeon magazine or Nat Geo Kids, that kind of stuff. Any page ads that they had for Nintendo products, for the GameCube or the Game Boy, it was usually like a real life photo that had Nintendo characters pasted over it, just their heads or so, or maybe like a prop or something to go with them. Like, it looked like it was taped on there when it was really just Photoshop, but it was like taped on top of it and saying, "Who are you?" Like, you're playing as the character. It's kind of cool. I'm pretty sure that phone number is not... I don't even know if it's in service. I haven't called it, but you can do that if you want, and let me know how that goes. Winter 2003. So I would have been 8 years old, going on 9, almost 9 years old. Unless I mean like earlier in the year. I associate winter with like November, December, not January, like into the next year. Anywho, let's have a look. So we got, we're definitely going to see this a bunch. Rating pending. Not everything is going to be fully unveiled in here. Probably a bunch of sneak peeks. The really up-close look of the GameCube here, and some of the table of contents to understand everything. Yeah, 95, 96, almost 97 pages. That's a lot. I'm not going to read through literally everything. I'll try not to take forever on every single page for the sake of time. But I still want to at least share about it, and you can read that a little bit better yourself later on. If you want to pause at any time, take a look through things. So some of the bigger highlights that they have for games in here: Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Legend of Zelda Four Swords, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, and James Bond 007 Everything or Nothing. I've played none of those. I technically own Four Swords Adventures on the Game Boy Advance. It was in a double pack with Link to the Past, which is cool, but I never played it. Maybe I'll play it sometime. Nintendo GameCube was designed to perform just one task: to play video games, and to provide the best possible game experience. Compact and stylish. Oh yeah, I agree with that. The Nintendo GameCube is a huge technical leap. The specifically optimized processor and other cutting-edge features guarantee real-world performance that translates to industry-leading load times and allow the Nintendo GameCube to easily adapt to future technology. Of course, they're going to have a lot of marketing mumbo-jumbo in here just to make it sound like it's the peak of technology. It's the marvel of this age. But yeah, it does look really good. It's better powered than the N64, that's to be fair. But then again, future technology, we know that the Wii came after this, and the Wii essentially has the same processing power as the GameCube. So I don't know if you want to what you want to call that one. We have the different colors, which for a while they did like just specific color names for things. I don't even know if they do that with the Switch nowadays. If it's just red for Joy-Con, blue Joy-Con. No, back then you had Indigo, Spice, Platinum, Jet, and then you have the special kind of GameCube controller, the Wavebird. Funny story. Not too long ago, a couple months back, I found a Wavebird, or at least I thought I did, at a video game store, fairly priced, and I'm like, yeah, I was curious about it. Like, I may have tried it once or twice before, but never owned one, so I decided to pick it up. I bring it home. I realized there's something a bit wrong with this. I have it pretty close to the GameCube, and it's still not responding very well, even with fresh batteries in there. Turns out, it was a knockoff. It was a knockoff Wavebird, and I could tell because it did not have a channel function on the bottom of it. There's a little dial that changes what channel it goes to, or, which controller input, basically. And it wasn't there. Also, it didn't have the Nintendo logo on it. It's also another sure sign of a rip-off, knockoff Nintendo controller. It has the right shape, but doesn't have the logo itself for legality, but also, yeah, it's weird. I love the Pokemon game. This is probably my peak of my Pokemon fandom, honestly. Like, I had known about it before this, but as far as playing the games, this is really the generation that I got into playing them on the console and on the handheld. Before that, it was just a couple of them on the N64 and Pokemon Yellow as played through the N64 because of Pokemon Stadium. I've seen the Indigo GameCube actually not too long ago, a couple of years back at a Goodwill, and I passed it up because I already own a GameCube. I didn't think of, why would I need a second one? But in all honesty, it would be kind of cool having the Indigo because it's a really sharp, iconic color to me for the GameCube, even though it has a bunch of different colors. And it does have a spice color, but that's a Japanese release if I remember correctly. I got the Platinum. I saved up money from Boy Scout popcorn sales to buy the Platinum Limited Edition, in quotes, GameCube, and it bundled with Mario Kart Double Dash. I was in Toys R Us. My choice was either Double Dash as a bundle or Metroid Prime as a bundle. The only two that had that on the shelves. I didn't know anything about Metroid at the time other than Super Smash Bros. I never played a Metroid game up to then. So Metroid Prime seems like a weird one to get out of the package, to play when I'm not familiar with it. So, and I already love Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting Double Dash. And that was the best decision I ever made. I also feel proud because it was the first time I personally bought a video game system. And for my family. It wasn't just for me. My family shared it, of course. But I got to be the one to actually buy it wholeheartedly with money saved up, which was great. And I did get a Spice controller with it. I got the Platinum controller, yeah. But despite its raw power and the technical specs, the Nintendo GameCube is a reminder of one important fact. Nintendo is all about fun, you betcha. Great game development is an art, and Nintendo is the master of that art, most of the time. No one else has the unmatched characteristics, flexible developer-friendly design, exciting connectivity to Game Boy Advance, and an unyielding focus on the gameplay experience. That's the Nintendo difference. Okay. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance. Pick it up and feel the power of the most advanced handheld gaming system ever. In an eye-popping portable package. Plays all the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games you already own, plus over 300 and growing titles, specifically created for the world's only 32-bit handheld. I guarantee it's not the only one, even at that time. Widescreen format with higher resolution and more color for dazzling detailed graphics. Using select titles, up to 4 Game Boy Advance games systems can be linked together with Game Boy Advance Game Link cables sold separately, so offering 4-way gameplay using the single game cartridge. That's actually impressive. I never tried that personally. I never owned a Game Boy Advance. My cousin owned the Arctic one. And I also think Fuchsia is kind of cool. But again, Indigo and Glacier are basically the 2 colors I associate the most with the Game Boy Advance. I kind of do want to get one in retrospect, but in a technical perspective, it really isn't going to do much more for me than the SP that I already owned and, had since day one, basically. But it looks really cool. For me, it reminds me, the Switch a lot reminds me of the Game Boy Advance because of that having the screen in the middle style of gameplay. And yeah, you could say the Wii U is the same thing, but this is a little better balanced and more colorful than the Wii U ever was. It still might be fun to have at some point. And I don't know if I'll ever try the 4-way gameplay unless I know 3 other people I want to try it with. Game Boy Advance SP. All the power of the most advanced portable gaming system ever. Now with a built-in side-lighted screen and sleek folding design. Experience the bold graphics, large colorful widescreen format, and digitized stereo sound. Play all your favorite Game Boy and Game Boy Color games you already own. They definitely made it important. Backwards compatibility between these. That's important. They're not brand new handhelds. They are continuing the line of Game Boys. New built-in side-lighted screen for Take Anywhere gameplay. Includes AC adapter and lithium-ion rechargeable battery pack. Good for up to 18 hours of continuous gameplay with the light off. This was my first handheld. I never owned a Game Boy before this. I remember... I don't remember which year, but I remember Christmas. I owned Game Boy Advance SP. I got the Platinum one. My brother got the Onyx. I mean, I knew of the Cobalt and Flame, and yeah, honestly, the color's not a big deal for me. Not a big deal breaker of what's what. They're all good. I love this design. This is definitely my favorite handheld, unless you count the Switch, because that's a really good handheld. Gets it just right. It feels good to play on it. The buttons lower than the screen. Honestly, I think it's something I really enjoyed as a kid, and probably would have enjoyed it a little bit better than the Game Boy Advance, but I'd still like to try it out at some point. The fact that it's foldable, collapsible, so the screen doesn't get wonked up. Although, to be fair, some scratches still happened every once in a while, but it was still a very reliable. I can still play with mine. Every once in a while, I'll pick it up again. I'll play on it. Nowadays, I don't know if they're going to mention it in here. Nowadays, if I play Game Boy games at home, I'm going to be playing them on the Game Boy player that attaches to the GameCube. I don't even know if we're going to get to that. Slide into a whole new level of play with Nintendo e-reader cards. I'm not going to read all the text through this, but basically, this was kind of the precursor to Amiibo and a lot of other similar functions. You have this thing that slides into the Game Boy slot and works for most models. I don't know if it works with the Game Boy Advance SP as well, but Game Boy Advance models, obviously, it's made for. Oh, it does. Okay, there we go. It's on the screen. But basically, this thing is made so that you swipe a card through it. It gives a code that will play a game in here from that card, and temporarily, works with it. I did have an e-reader for a short while because I knew that I had some e-reader cards from like the Nintendo Power magazines, maybe some other things, but I never really used it, and I didn't really know how to use it. So I don't know if I will I don't know if it's going to change anything. Most of the ones that I recall having are for Pokemon cards. I don't have any that have specific games on them like this one. But yeah, it was an experiment. And apparently it also works in the GameCube. I'm just going to read through it real quick. You can add it into games like Animal Crossing and Pokemon Channel. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, so here we go. This is where it explains a little bit more about how it's integrated with the Pokemon cards. So the card game, they have them along the bottom of many cards, probably not all of them. I grew up with the Ruby and Sapphire pack, the starter pack, if I remember correctly. I think I had a Team Aqua pack. I have a lot of Team Aqua cards. I'm not sure what pack exactly it was from, but I love this generation of Pokemon. As I said earlier, this was the peak of my Pokemon fandom between home and handheld consoles. Third generation, I stand it for as long as I can. I'm really looking forward. I've been trying for a while to get back into playing it because my Ruby and Sapphire files unfortunately have been overwritten, and Emerald. And I gotta start everything all over again. And we got the issue of the berry mechanic, or berry glitch, or whatever it's called. You know, that's kind of no longer a thing, having played through it already. So that may eliminate some features, which is kind of a bummer. It was nearly complete! It's such a tragedy. So they also have these available for other cards, like you can get the Game & Watch games through here, some of the Super Mario games. Even though they did have these as Game Boy Advance games sold separately. Sure, alright. But yeah, they really went to town with the e-reader aspect. So much so, Animal Crossing had its own line of it. As a, the NES line of them. Again, they had NES classics. They had actual game cartridges of porting the NES games. But now you can get them as a card. And they had a Mario Party that was basically entirely reliant on the e-reader. Weird, but fun. And that's the point. It's weird, but fun. I really do wonder if anybody still uses those or has very fond memories with those, because, again, that's not something I'm familiar with, but I'd love to hear more about it. I hear the Indigo. Okay. Okay, so now... What was that? Right, boom. There's another boom. Give me a second. Placeholder. I am so smart. Yeah, I don't know what that was, Scooby. Anyways. See if we can fast forward a little bit. Get connected. Basically, this is talking about using your Game Boy Advance or Advance SP to plug it into the GameCube for additional features in your games. Some of these may be from having a second player that plays along with you, or you use it as the Tingle Tracker in Wind Waker. I knew of these features growing up, but I don't think I really used them that much outside of Wind Waker and Pokemon Coliseum. That was basically the only two I can think of. A lot of these other games on this screen I don't even have. So there you go. Ah, there we go. Game Boy Player. It does bring it up, and the compatibility, accessories, broadband adapter. Yeah, I remember when I got the GameCube and had the Mario Kart Double Dash with it. Scoob! What's going on, Scoob? There's nobody there. You're barking at my car. I'm in here. You know that. Oh boy, alright. I remember when I got Mario Kart Double Dash and it said something about playing over broadband or like a local area network thing. I was like, that's interesting. I know that's like next to impossible to do, but that would be incredible to play like 8-player or 16-player of a single game on a GameCube. I want to see these combinations in real life. This is wacky stuff. For me, I didn't grow up with a Game Boy player. I loved it. I really wanted it. It took me a long time before I finally traded in enough games in order to get it, and I did. And I have the CD with it, so I could play it, properly. Because the CD, for some reason, is harder to find than the base model. I don't know why. Scoop! What's going on? I'm right here. It doesn't help that we live in a neighborhood where a lot of people's cars are pretty close, and you hear one door close, and he thinks it's right outside. But yeah, a lot of different games they list in here that are compatible, different systems of controllers to hook up, link cables, etc. I think that there was for a time I only had like a few third-party ones. I didn't have all of them first-party for the wires. Like Intech, I think, was the brand where I got them for the Game Boy Advance controllers plugging into the GameCube, and then later on, like one official one from Nintendo. There was an extension wire for the GameCube. There was like a whole pack from Intech of compatible stuff that you could use with the GameCube. Not all of it was entirely compatible. It was my first memory card though, which worked fine. But one of the things that was weird, they had an extension wire that was like almost 4 foot or 6 foot extension wire for a controller. You could plug it into your official, GameCube and controller, but then it shut off the game as it was plugged in. It's like it crashed. It was like, what? So we barely used that. Alright, so now we're talking about the Game Boy Player in full detail, which is basically like the Game Boy, I forget what they call it. Super Game Boy, that's it. Super Game Boy 1 and 2 for the Super Nintendo. It allowed you to play Game Boy games on your big screen using the home console. Love that. I'm so happy I have that. It's one of my favorite things with the GameCube. It's great to have that option for literally any Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games, and it's easy to install, easy to adapt it if you need it for certain things. It's got link cable. You can put a link cable on it. So there's a lot of fun stuff. Fun to see it on a big screen, and a few ways to customize it on the screen as well. Other accessories. So we have the GameCube controller, the GameCube Wavebird wireless controller. We mentioned that earlier. It's basically like a TV remote, like infrared. And so if you don't have a direct line to it, it's going to cut off. Not as powerful as like a Wii remote or even the Wii Connect. Or what was it called? Wii Play Motion or Wii Motion Plus. That's the one. GameCube memory cards, 59, 251, and then the later, what is it, like 1019. That's it. That's the ticket. It was really weird counting by blocks, but especially with odd numbers on all of them, but you figured it out over time. They had a component cable? Well, I guess it would have been the right time that they would start transitioning to component AV, but I never had one. I don't know if I'd ever need one. I still have my original wires and they work just fine on an HD TV, but that's something to consider. RF switch, RF modulator, okay. That's an option if you need it. Again, probably something much older technology would need more than we would need nowadays. Game Boy Advance cable, we mentioned that earlier. Broadband adapter. Allows you to connect to a broadband service for playing online capable games, which aren't many on the GameCube that I recall. This adapter can only be used with specifically designed GameCube games that include online game features. So Mario Kart Double Dash is one example. Phantasy Star Online is a highly well-known example. And I don't even know if people know the game as well as they know the controller that the game is built for. Or the giant version of the GameCube controller that has a whole like keyboard in the middle of it. Yeah, that one. Everybody knows that controller. I don't know a squat about that game. I'm sure people do enjoy that game, though. Modem adapter. Yeah, they're really starting to get the online play going, but not entirely. Allows you to connect to a dial-up internet connection for playing online cable games. Again, depends on the game. Let's see. AC adapter set. Game Boy Advance AC adapter set. Okay. I don't know if that's necessary. Game Boy Advance, Game Link cable. Because this is a thing that they included in the Game Boy Advance SP. Probably not the original Game Boy Advance, though. Maybe that's why. That's a specialty here. And then the Game Link cable to connect Game Boy games or Game Boy Advances to others. A little bit of lifestyle photo there. I like how much square aesthetic is all through this thing. It's like it's a cube, duh. Squares. The name of the game is Squares. All right, Mario Kart Double Dash. Best Mario Kart of all time right here. Okay, Mario Kart 8 is good, and pretty much every Mario Kart supersedes the last one at some point. Like there are much improvements, but Double Dash will always be unique for the two-player gameplay. You can have two people. Everybody has special items. There's so many kart options. I'm sure other Mario Karts have a lot of options too. But this one feels so personalized. It feels so cool. Like you can tell what each car represents, what characters they're built for, and it looks amazing. It's so much fun. Exactly. This was amazing. Hard to say if this is my favorite GameCube game of all time, but it's definitely within the top 10. That is a video for another day. I actually recorded a long time ago, and I still need to edit that, but I will get to that on the other channel when I get to that. Or here. Who knows? I think it'll be fun sharing more video game stuff on here. 1080 Avalanche. I knew about this game growing up. I never played it. I may have watched people play it a little bit. It's got a really nice art aesthetic. I'll give it that for all the characters. But other than that, I don't know anything about this or other ones in the series. Sorry, can't really say much there. Mario Party 5. I knew of Mario Party growing up. I want to say even in the N64 era. But the first Mario Party I owned on any console was Mario Party 6. Which, it pains me. Again, it's a tragedy. My original copy, my disc, has been scratched over time. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's completely useless. I've tried inserting it multiple times over the years, and at some point it just does not read, which really puts a damper on things because I love that game. I love the day and night mechanic in Mario Party 6. I love the orb mechanic between that and 7. At least I can still play 7. That one I got not long after, and still use the mic for mini games, etc. Mario Party 5. I think I now own that. I haven't played much of it, clearly. But, I don't know. It could be good. It's still in that GameCube era. Aesthetic-wise, you know, it might be good. Let me know your favorite Mario Party in the comments. Obviously, it's 10. Mario Party 10. No, it's Mario Party 9. Oh, man. That's... I own Mario Party 10, and I'm like, no, please, no. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I know nothing about Final Fantasy. I assure you I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Really nice art, I'll give it that. RPGs are really not my area, not my forte. And I have no idea if Final Fantasy is the kind of series that's like, oh, you gotta learn everything from every game leading up to it, like Kingdom Hearts or something, where it's like a convoluted story. I don't know. Kingdom Hearts, also for a point of perspective, I've never played and only know seldom about. Kirby Air Ride, the only Kirby game made for the GameCube. No standard title. This is just a spin-off. I do want to try this one out at some point. Because I love my racing games. I love mascot kart racing games, and this definitely fits the bill for this. I don't own it, but I would like to try this out at some point. It seems interesting. I've seen like 1 or 2 reviews about it. How there are some go-tos for, the Warp Stars. Some you just completely skip over. But it seems like a fun idea. And I'm not even a Kirby fan. I may own 1 or 2 Kirby games, but I've never really played through them. So I just like the aesthetic. I like what's going on here. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. This is fun. I haven't played a lot of Mario sports games before, during, or after the GameCube era, and the GameCube era is definitely the biggest batch of Mario sports games. But this is a highlight. This is great. I love golf on Toadstool Tour. I'm really looking forward to the new one for the Switch. I'm hoping it's like this, but even better. This is always just fun. I don't know what it is. Even though it's just Mario characters inserted in here, and then little tidbits in the background of Mario aesthetic things. But mostly looking like it could be an anybody golf game. It could be a Wii golf game. You know, like that kind of feel, but still fitting so well with Mario characters in it. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Legend of Zelda 4 Swords advanced preview coming 2004. So yeah, another one of those times where it's like, okay, the full game isn't out yet, but you know, it's coming. And again, I have not played this one. I've not played it on Four Swords Adventures that much. I don't know much of what's going on here. I don't hate it. I love the Wind Waker aesthetic. I love the style of Link. I owned the Wind Waker back in the day and still own it now, and I've played it. But I don't know about Four Swords. And I know that there are later titles like Triforce Heroes that are like kind of like that, but not as great. I haven't played them, so I don't know for sure personally. F-Zero GX. Now we're talking. The last, or one of the last, of the F-Zero franchise. Kind of short-lived, but man, man, was it fun. I grew up with F-Zero on the N64. I knew of F-Zero GX and then got it sometime later. And it's great. It definitely improves from the N64 graphically, musically, which is, you know, a testament because the music is so good in all those games. I haven't played the GBA ones, or I may have played the arcade once? One of the arcades or something? I have to dig back in my memory. But anyways, this is fun. Interesting story mode. Interesting cutscenes. Lots of characters. Like actually giving a bit more depth and background to the characters than the F-Zero franchise has given before. I have the Super Nintendo one through the SNES Classic, but I haven't really played it that much. And I guess technically I have played it using Brawl, because they give you the previews, but they're so short. It's like you barely played the game. So, GX is definitely the pinnacle of the series in all ways that it, you know, what it needs to live up to. I don't know where they would go from here, and to be fair, Mario Kart has already adapted it pretty well. Pikmin 2. I have Pikmin 1 and 2. I've played some of them myself a little bit. My brother's played through both of them. Love it. Really love this style of, you know, really tiny figures in a big world, or, you know, just by perspective, just by scale of it. You know, the fact that you can find a giant battery and it says Duracell. You know, it's like product placement, but fun. And a lot of other fun, like, activities and different types of Pikmin you can use and strategize with, and just grow a giant colony with them. It's a lot of fun all the way around. I'd love to play this again. I've not played Pikmin 3 or anything beyond, if there is anything beyond. I don't really play as Olimar in any of the Smash Brothers games, but I do respect this as a very niche but very unique Nintendo franchise. Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. So this was an exclusive for the GameCube, and they also mention up here, exclusive on the tabs. This was my only experience of Rogue Squadron. I didn't play it on the N64. I briefly played Rogue Squadron 2 before this, also on the GameCube, but I only played that one after playing this one extensively. I played this through the co-op. My brother played through the single player. We did on the unlockables. We almost did the whole 9 yards. And I'd still love to come back to this game. It still inspires me for like a little bit of extended universe stuff in Star Wars, and just playing through iconic scenes. However, apparently this one doesn't live up to its predecessor of Rogue Squadron 2. It's like a couple things changed. I've tried playing 2, and I guess I was just so attached with this one, I didn't keep it that long. So yeah, I'm basically sticking with this one. Maybe I'll play the N64 and see how different those are. But I still like what's here. I also do like, as far as the unlockables, you can actually play some of the vintage Star Wars Atari cabinets in here, which is fun for me because I played the arcade Atari Star Wars cabinet long before, you know, things happened at the shore. You know, hurricanes and fires and things like that basically wiped the arcade clean. Beautiful Joe, interesting style, but not a game I got into. I've only seen a bit of gameplay or watching part of a Let's Play about it, but not something that I really followed growing up. And even to this day, I'm like, maybe. It seems like it has a fun style to it, but I don't know much about it to get more into it. Soul Calibur 2. I swear, I only know about this franchise because of Soul Calibur 2, and only because Link was in Soul Calibur 2. That's about it. This is the only entry in it that I've played. I know there are other entries. I know there are other pop culture characters added, like Yoda, Darth Vader, and some of the later ones. I don't even know if they're still going. It's a fun breakup of a fighting game because I don't have a lot of fighting games under my belt, but I did enjoy this one. Yeah, battle mode is fun. Love Kirby. I think I even grew to like the other characters in here. I like Cervantes. He was a cool character. Yeah, I should play this again sometime. Sonic Heroes. This was definitely around the hype of my Sonic fandom. It's like I knew about the earlier titles from the Genesis and such, but didn't really play them on an original hardware. I just played them on like a plug and play. Then I really got to play them around Sonic Adventure 2 when they, became part of the GameCube. They brought over Sonic Adventure 2 from the Dreamcast into the GameCube and adding more features. So it's almost definitive. I wouldn't have it any other way. It was my introduction to the GameCube too. So I was like, yes, and always around. Sonic Adventure 1 as well, and Sonic Heroes. I remember going on Sonic Central, a website that was for Sonic fans, waiting for this game to come out. And even looking through like the music and trailers, characters, and things like that. Really hyped for this game. And to be fair, by this time, nowadays, it's more run-of-the-mill Sonic with a little bit of gimmick. It's not too bad, but it can have some glitches here and there. It can have some awful things depending on the port that you play. GameCube is one of the better versions of it from what I've heard. PlayStation is one of the worst. And I also remember Sonic Central of not only looking up about this game, but following shortly after Sonic 06. Seeing a little banner or something teasing about Sonic the Hedgehog for the Xbox. And I'm like, oh, how naive and young I was. I mean, I didn't play the game back then. I just knew of it, and then it just vanished in obscurity. Yeah, that's great. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game. I don't know anything about it other than Smash Brothers Brawl. I know it's a beloved franchise. I know there's a lot of really good stuff in it, but I don't know where to get started. Again, like many franchises, there's so many titles. I'm like, do I have to start from the beginning and play through up to now? Is there some I should skip? I have no idea. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. I didn't know much about this back then. I didn't even know that it was a video game franchise that much until the movie came out, and then the Lego sets came out, and I kid you not, when I found Lego leaks of Prince of Persia, I thought those sets were based on Indiana Jones. Like, there's this big obstacle course kind of set, like Sands of Time or something like that. Might have actually been after the name. Yeah, there you go. I thought that set was supposed to be a, like part of the Last Crusade from Indiana Jones. Maybe just because of the how far away it was, and again, I didn't know Prince of Persia as a franchise, but that was interesting. But yeah, I didn't know much about it as starting as a video game franchise and then having a movie adaptation. It's weird. It's weird for me. 007 Everything or Nothing. I knew about James Bond growing up. I didn't really watch the movies. I knew a little bit about the games, but not that much. I know Goldeneye is a beloved classic from the N64 era. I've tried playing it a little bit, and maybe I just didn't get far enough into it to understand how fun it was. Or maybe it's one of those things that's like you had to be there when you grew up with it because it was a revolution in first-person shooters. It's highly beloved nowadays, but maybe nostalgia for a lot of people. Like somebody who's never played it before, would they have the same experience with it? Because I've had other first-person shooters under my belt. After that, I don't know. And I don't know if this one it was a pivotal title in the 007 series anyways. I don't know. Tony Hawk's Underground. I knew of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 growing up, a little bit of Underground, but the first one that I ever played and owned was American Wasteland, which a lot of people, it's kind of mixed. As far as I can tell, not a lot of people are into that one as they are in other Tony Hawk games. I'd like to play 1 and 2 at some point, maybe even the remasters for the PS4, but for now, I don't know. I enjoyed American Wasteland for what it was. It still had a good style, good soundtrack, a lot of fun combinations for buttons. I don't know. I don't have a lot to base it off of. Played the original Tony Hawk. There you go. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Full-Bound Kingdom. So I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think around this time, it might have been when I was trailing off of the series. It was shortly after the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, which was around 2003, that I kind of, I didn't play the card games or I didn't keep up with the show as much as I did before that. I did have a starter pack for the Dungeon series. I forget what it was called. I was like, this is weird. This is weird gameplay, and I don't know. I'm okay with the cards. I did luckily find all my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff last year for 2020. The best way to spend that year. Best way to spend that day. I kid here. But it was a lot of fun going back, finally finding them after a long time, and organizing it very well. And watching the show again. I watched through the first season or two, and it was fun. I still want to watch the movie again. The first movie, for me, as a kid, was fun. I don't know if any of the future movies or video games were any better. I did play some Yu-Gi-Oh! On the Game Boy Advance, and I think Powers of Chaos on the PC. But that might have been a demo. I don't remember much from it. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I didn't play any of the console Harry Potter games, but I did play Harry Potter on the Game Boy Advance, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the Game Boy Color, which, as we all know, is the last released game for the Game Boy Color. Last official release, I should say. It's funny. Neither one of those really grasped me that much, and I'd say I was more of a casual fan of Harry Potter back then. A little bit better now, but not by much. Still haven't read through all the books or watched all the movies or anything like that. I've only, a little bit from the first couple films and books. With some information of the characters and plot forward from that. So I don't know. I don't know if this was a good game. It sounds like a good premise. It sounds like a sports game for just Quidditch would be great. I have no idea if it turned out well. The Sims Bustin' Out. I don't remember if I ever played The Sims. I've played SimCopter, which is the same company, but it's a very specific version of The Sims. You're playing as a guy who mans a helicopter, and you can upgrade the helicopter. You can upgrade items in the helicopter, accessories, etc. to take care of services all throughout the town. Very low graphics. Look up the game. It's funny how low graphics they were at the time. And even by this point, would have been an improvement for The Sims Bustin' Out. But I've never played a Sims game in the traditional sense. I've watched people play them, and it seems like fun. Creating your own world and everything. Oh, maybe those booms are thunder. I don't know. Madden 04. I'm not a football guy. So this doesn't shake anything for me. I did play Madden 06 back in the day. Barely. I didn't know anything about the controls, the moves, the plays. I just ran until I got tackled. And I do have Madden 08 because of a certain YouTuber. I got that long later, of course. And I have the best version of it. The Xbox 360 version, which of course, yeah, is the best version. But it came in GameCube or not GameCube. It came in GameStop cartoon packaging, so it doesn't have the original package with it. It's got the used game case to it. And I got it for free. It's great. Madden 08. Xbox 360. GameStop packaging for free. FIFA Soccer 04, NBA Live 04. Again, sports ball. I mean, yeah, I said earlier about Mario Sports, but that's the thing. A lot of times when it comes to a video game adaptation of sports, I like playing the cartoony, unrealistic version. I don't want to play the one that's based on real players or whatever, you know? Every once in a while, I'll pick up something like NASCAR Heat, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to play a NASCAR game or a Forza game, you know? I'm going to play a Mario Kart more often than that. So basically, everything I just said for the Madden series applies here. They're fine. They're for people, but they're not my jam. They're not my NBA jam. That's not even here. NBA jam was N64. Anyways. And SSX3, another smooth snowboarding game. Again, I don't know much about it, but I know it exists. I think I did play a FIFA game, to be fair. I don't know if it was 04, but I did have a FIFA game on the PC. I'll give it that. Any other ones would have been like backyard baseball, soccer, hockey. WrestleMania, sure. Again, I've only played like one Wrestling Federation game, and at that, didn't do much for me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't think it was this one, but there was another one that I was looking into recently that may or may not have the turtle, may not have the arcade game as an unlockable, and I'm curious about it. Although it may not be definitive. I don't know. I really want to play that one on something more than just an NES, but I'm glad I still have the card anyways. Medal of Honor Rising Sun. No idea what that is. Beyond Good and Evil. No idea what that is. Sorry. There's going to be a lot of disappointment in this area. The Simpsons Hit and Run. Okay, I didn't grow up with that one. I have got that one in the past couple of years for the PlayStation 2. It's fun. I love it. I knew of it growing up, but did not play it until recently, and I enjoy it. It was a lot of fun going through that. Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I knew of Dragon Ball Z. I barely understood the story, but I knew there were a lot of games, and that's about it. and then there's things like, I think it even happened on this channel. If yeah, it happened on this channel too. Dragon Ball Xenoverse faking me out with a Super Mario Maker. That was a fun live stream. I was like, why? Now my Switch has a memory of something that it didn't even mean to play. So it's, oh, you have Xenoverse, right? No, that's not what I wanted. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I talked about that earlier. Never played the console version. Frogger's Adventures: The Rescue. Okay. I mean, I like the original classic Frogger. I've played one or two knockoff ones from Radio Shack. I think I've played the Cabinet once or twice. But, I didn't need to know about this 3D platforming, progression of Frogger. There's a lot of other ones that get little blips. So we have Piano 3. What? I don't know what that is. I don't know the Roman numeral. I think it's 13? X is usually 10, so I guess it's 13. Killer 7. What? True Crime, Streets of LA. What? Is it trying to be GTA? NBA Street Volume 2. Okay. Go Hyper Grind. Okay, there's one at least I've heard of, and especially in recent years. Thanks to Rebel Taxi, I know what this game is. I didn't know I had it in here all along. It's a skateboarding game with cel-shaded graphics with cartoon characters, partially animated by Spumco, the studio behind Ren and Stimpy, which is all just fascinating, and they do mention that in here too. But I never played it. I kind of want to play it, but I don't know. I'm not dying for it, and I know it's pretty expensive nowadays. NFL Blitz Pro. Okay. Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. I never played one of those, but I know a little bit about them for several years. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Chaos Bleeds. Okay, that's a game. NHL Hits. Am I reading that right? Hits Pro. There we go. Yeah, okay. The Hulk, as in the Incredible Hulk, as in the movie, I guess. I don't know. Before the Marvel Universe. It's just like a standalone kind of movie thing, I think. Roadkill. Sure. Okay. There we go. Now we're talking. Bionicle. I played this on the PC before getting the GameCube version. And basically the reason why I got from PC into console gaming. I mean, I played consoles, of course, for a while. But, like, I dropped PC around this time. Because there were some games that were running or that couldn't run properly on my PC. And of course, I probably need to upgrade it or whatever, but that's not what we had available in my house. Even though my dad works as a computer technician and, you know, maintenance, that doesn't mean he has the highest end software or hardware. That's far from the truth. But at least I got this. And funny enough, my copy of it, I kept unwrapping the shrink wrap until I realized that's not shrink wrap anymore. Yeah, Scooby's in the background. I realized it wasn't shrink wrap anymore. That was actually part of the case that I just ripped open. So I've just been wandering around with that for over 10 years. Almost 20 years. Wow. Beyblade Super Tournament Battle. I keep forgetting Beyblade's been around that long, but yeah. I didn't really get into it. I played a little bit of it in high school as a joke, like 1 or 2 nights with friends, but doesn't mean it was going to go anywhere. Fantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Battle. That's a long name. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Mom, can we play Battle for Bikini Bottom? No, you have it at home. The one I have at home, the Game Boy Advance version, and the PC version. Neither of those are the same as this one, which everybody swears by is good. I've never played it. Although I do have the Rehydrated, so hopefully that lives up to it for me. I haven't played too far into it right now on the Switch, but I hear it's like, for people who grew up with it, it doesn't do much. So I figure for me, who didn't grow up with that version, it might be really good. The one I played on the Game Boy was your basic side-scrolling platformer, basically. And the one I played on the PC was your basic point-and-click adventure game, like a lot of SpongeBob games on the PC were back then. Employee of the Month, Operation Krabby Patty. Yeah, it was a weird time, but interesting nonetheless. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. I knew about that game, but didn't ever play it. Didn't know if it's good. It'd be awesome if there was a Scooby-Doo game that played like Luigi's Mansion. Let's put it that way. I don't know if that exists. Automodalista. What? Oh, okay. Gotcha Force. I've heard about that one. Apparently it's highly coveted as well, so I probably won't get to play that. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. I know Disney's had a few skateboarding games over the years with their mascots, with different characters from their films. That's about it. That's as far as I know. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, exclusively for the Xbox. I mean, the GameCube. I'm tired. Okay. I knew of the game, but I didn't get it. I didn't play it. The the most interest I had in the fact is the fact that it was developed by Sonic Team, and that's about it. But I knew it wasn't a Sonic game. I have a handheld like LCD electronic game from McDonald's as a Happy Meal based on this game. It's clearly not the same experience. Spy Hunter 2. Sure. I mean, I know it's an old Midway arcade game, and I've played that one long after this one. I've never played this. Crash Nitro Kart. Yeah, I really didn't get into Crash and Spyro because I never had a PlayStation. And my cousin had a PlayStation, but I barely had time to even play it. I think I knew of him having like one Yu-Gi-Oh game on it. He probably had a bunch of other games, but I didn't know much about personally. Wallace and Gromit in Project Zoo. Okay. Didn't really know much about the franchise back then. The Hobbit. Okay. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy. Okay. Pitfall Harry. Like the Activision game. I don't know. I don't know anything about this version. Freestyle Metal X. Sure. Attack of the Power of Juju. I knew about this. I may have watched part of the TV show, but did not gain a lot of interest for me. Freaky Flyers. Okay. Hot Wheels World Race. I knew the movie. I like the movie. I kind of wanted to get the cars. I don't think I may have one of the cars at best. I don't know. But I never played the game, and I don't know if it lives up to the movie. Ultimate Muscle, Legends vs. New Generation. I don't know much about Ultimate Muscle. I know it exists, though. Mega Man Network Transmission. So, Battle Network's era of Mega Man, I didn't know much about. I didn't know much about Mega Man anyways. Up to that point, up to, like, recent years. I have the Anniversary Collection for the GameCube. So, I can still play through the classics. The one I grew up with was Mega Man 3. That was it. And even that one, I never beat. Although, I like Mega Man as a character. I like him as a Smash Brothers character. I like him as an amiibo. I like him as a defective amiibo because I had one that was packaged backwards, and it still cracks me up to this day. Big Mother Truckers. Sure, okay, you got me with the name, but that's about it. That's as far as we go. Gladius. Like gladiators, I guess? I don't know. Metal Arms, Glitch in the System. Sure. They're basically giving you the variety of games that are coming out or already released for the GameCube. So it's like, oh, well, you could get into one of these things to play it. Game Boy Advance. Probably going to see a whole bunch of those games as well. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. God, these confusing titles. I despise how these titles are confusing. I knew about them back in the day. I did not pick up any of them. I didn't even know what they were, if they were actually original games or just ports. But it felt familiar just by looking at them, and I was like, I don't know. Nowadays, I know they're all ports, but like, why didn't they just call them what they were? NES Classic Series did that perfectly fine. Weird, but I'm glad that they were available for the Game Boy, but nothing that I'm really dying to go for. Fire Emblem. Oh, my first Nintendo Power, like subscribing to Nintendo Power. My first issue had Fire Emblem on the cover, and it was either late GameCube or into the Wii. And now look at Fire Emblem. I still haven't gotten into this franchise. I still know next to nothing outside of Super Smash Brothers about it. I respect people who do enjoy it, like other things. It's just not for me. Or has taken me a lot more to even understand it. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I remember people playing this one back in the day. But I have not played this. I haven't played anything from the Mario and Luigi series, even though it looks really good. Even Paper Mario series, I haven't played anything. I think I played a demo on the GameCube in a Kmart I used to go to. That had not Mario and Luigi. It had Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. There were a couple other demos on there. I don't remember what they all were. I'm sure I can research that sometime later, but that was cool on its own. But this game, I kind of want to try it out. It seems cool. A lot of people love it. A lot of people love the series. Maybe someday. Let me know if there's even a better game in the series that is a little more accessible. And even in the fact that it's an RPG game, at least the Mario iconography makes it more welcoming. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Second verse, same as the first. You already heard what I said about the Final Fantasy earlier. I'm at least giving you the time that you could read through the description that they had back in the day, but I got nothing in here. Metroid Zero Mission. So this is basically a remake of the NES Metroid game with better graphics, updated sprites, and things like that. Again, I didn't know much about Metroid back then, so this just kind of passed by me. Nowadays, I might want to play this. I don't know if it's a better version of Metroid, like the original Metroid. Here's one, like Super Metroid I definitely want to play, and I have it on the Super Nintendo Classic, so I have no excuse to not play it. But I would really like to play, what is it? It was another one for the Game Boy Advance. Came out around the same time. With the X virus or whatever it was. That one looked a lot of fun. I've watched gameplay, I've watched Let's Plays of it, and I'm like, I like what this is going for. And I've barely played a Metroid game. I played Metroid Prime later into the GameCube life, but not much beyond it. Sword of Mana. I mean, the artwork's pretty, but I didn't even know how long of a franchise this was up to this point. So I just thought this was a brand new thing back in the day. Again, still not familiar with it. Like, fantasy is technically my cup of tea. I do like fantasy stuff, but fantasy games and movies somehow missed the mark for me. I don't know. I just didn't have that many to grow up with. Like, I barely watched Lord of the Rings. And I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people. And there goes the viewer. He doesn't watch Lord of the Rings? I'm out. Top Gear Rally. I don't know if this is supposed to be a port of the N64 Top Gear Rally, but I know that one exists because that was one I grew up with and on the N64. But okay, I know it's been a series for a while, so it's not just those two games. But sure, this is one of the few cases of more realistic racing car game that I'd say that I've played, but it's not one that I go back to that much. That's the point I was trying to make earlier. Hamtaro Rescue, Rainbow Rescue. I think I watched the Hamtaro show, never played the games, never gotten into the merchandise beyond that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I had Hamtaro plushes. I don't remember. Maybe it was like a Happy Meal toy or something, I don't know. Banjo-Kazooie, that was interesting to see on the Game Boy Advance. Grunty's Revenge. So, you got that. I mean, it's no Banjo 3, but you got more Banjo-Kazooie somewhere. Like, I growing up, I only knew of the original Banjo-Kazooie. I barely knew of Tooie. And I knew multiple people, multiple cousins that had played Banjo-Kazooie. It took me a long time before I got to play it, and now I have it on Rare Replay, and I'll, again, happily go through it on my own. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, second verse, same as the first. I got nothing else to add here. Dragon Ball Z, I'm gonna mispronounce this one, Taiketsu? Yeah, just add me to the list. Oh, well. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. I think I have this one? I don't know. There's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on the Game Boy Advance. The Eternal Duelist Soul, I have two of, or I did have two of growing up. Because my brother and I used the link cable to play them with each other, which was cool. Played something more than just Pokemon with it. Looking at the screenshots, I think this one I had. But, like most of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, my brother played them more than I did. And by the time I got to play them, I wasn't really going that far into them. We got Turtles again, 007, Everything or Nothing. Again, I don't have much more to add here for these, which is fine because we're almost through this. Let's see, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Oh, we already just talked about that. We didn't even mention a game with it. You already know. You already know. I don't know what this bottom one is. Boktai? I'm probably mispronouncing that again. Boktai, I'm gonna go with. The sun is in your hand, and it hurts. I don't got anything from. Apparently from the Metal Gear Solid creators. Okay. It seems like an interesting, like, screenshots alone, this seems kind of interesting to me. Top-down, almost Zelda-like gameplay. But then again, if I wanted that, I'd just play a Zelda game. I'd play, like, A Link to the Past. So, I don't know. Sims busting out, we talked about that. Tiger Woods, PGA Tour. I've already talked about the golf. Toadstool Tour, you know. Sonic Pinball Party. I think I only got this one recently. One of those like multi-packs of Game Boy Advance games. They did that a bunch of times where they re-release games in a bundle with 2, 3, sometimes 4 games in one, which is insane, and it's kind of cool. Like, there's a Nickelodeon 4-pack that I have, and I'm like, wow, these must be really bare-bone games that they charged $20, $30 for back in the day. There must be something fishy going on if they're like, oh, we could take this whole game and squeeze it into a cart with 2 or 3 other ones. It's like, is it a full game, though? Did you really work hard on this? The Konami Arcade Classics, I forget what the whole name is. Konami Arcade Classics was much like that. There's a bunch of arcade games, but they're so scattered, and there's so few of them, and they're so bare bones that it's like, this feels weird. This feels like I'm getting cheated. Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. I knew about this one. I still see this in game stores. In box with the Millennium Falcon. It's like, alright, sure. There we go. Battle for Bikini Bottom. I talked about it. So fun story. I did find some of the cheat codes in that game by pure accident. I knew there were some games where they kind of had cheat codes that were just all over the place. 9 times out of 10, it was just random numbers and letters. You couldn't make anything cohesive out of them. But there were some games, like Rebel Strike, we talked about earlier, where it actually was a word or phrase to make the cheat code. So, by chance, I thought about that for Battle for Bikini Bottom back in the day, and I tried Krabby. K-R-B-Y. It only gives you 4 characters to enter a password. And turns out KRBY is the password to unlock everything in the game, to get to any level in any order you want to do them. So I use this as not only to beat the final boss without playing through more than like 4 levels in the game before that point, but also I used it for using boss rushes. So I would play through every single boss in chronological order and skip all the other levels. Squidward is the toughest and a little bit unfair, but I've still beat it multiple times. Lion King 1.5. That happened. It's like a prequel, sequel kind of thing. I think I had it on VHS at one point as well. Never had the game for it. I don't think I'm missing much. Spyro Attack of the Rhinots, I think it's pronounced. I could be wrong about that again. Not a franchise I know much about. I've played like 2 Spyro games ever up to this point. The Legend, the Beginning Legend, the Legend Reborn. I don't know what it was called, but it was on the GameCube. It was on a bunch of other platforms. Nobody talks about it among other Spyro games, and the Reignited Trilogy, which I guess then means I've played 4 of them because it's a trilogy. Frogger's Journey, we already know. Bionicle. So I didn't play the Bionicle Game Boy Advance games growing up. I have them now. I have Galador. And I got Galador for free at a game store once. They were just like, take it. We don't know what to do with it. It was great. It made me smile ear to ear because it's like I know what I'm getting myself into, and you guys, I don't know. It's not like a highly valuable game either. One of my favorite stories in that way. I was in a game store, and I found on the shelf Jammer Lammy for the PlayStation. I already had a PlayStation 2 Slim before this point, but I was like, oh, cool. I never had any of the Parappa games, and this was just neat to find. In there, they charged $2 for the game because they thought it was the soundtrack. He already rang it up at the register, thought it was a soundtrack, and then looked at the CD and was like, oh, this is the full game. And he still let me have it because it would have been a $20 game otherwise. I'm so lucky. I'm so happy for that. And it is actually a fun game. I have the demo for Parappa the Rapper on PS4. I still want to play through the entirety of that and Parappa 2. But Jammer was definitely one of the greatest video game deals I ever had, and especially in recent memory. Sega, welcome to the stream. I got the world map set, opened the box, took a look at it, and put it back in the box. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not going to touch that. Although, I am actually curious. I really, really, really want to get to the Lego store, because no other stores have them. The Targets and Walmarts don't have Lego Looney Tunes CMFs. I tried looking. I really want those. Alright, Madden 04, you already heard about that. Crash Bandicoot Entangled. I didn't even know that was a game. That exists, apparently. Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. I own a Need for Speed game nowadays, but because I got it for free out of Video Game Con, and it was kind of already known that, oh, you're in a panel, you get a question. If you get a question, or not if you get a question answered. If you're chosen to ask a question at the panel, and then, the panelists will answer the question for you, you will also be able to take home a free game. And there was a box full of poopy prizes. They were all not great games. So I was like, out of the ones that were in there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to I'll take another GameCube game, even if it sucks, because it's another GameCube game. I already enjoyed the GameCube. And then later that night, also from the same panel, someone picked up Dead Space 1 and 2 for the Xbox 360 and gave them to me because I never played it before. So I was like, cool, I got 3 games out of this. I still need to play them a couple years later. Whoops. I don't play horror games that much. That's why Dead Space has been on the back burner. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, okay. Beyblade, okay. The Hobbit, okay. There's not much else I can say here. I do apologize for the glare throughout the video. I probably should have said that earlier. Oh well. Shrek, wreaking havoc. Okay. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Okay, I swear I've never watched a Terminator movie, but I've seen Terminator the arcade. I've seen Terminator the pinball game. That's about it. Rugrats Go Wild. I don't even think I saw the whole movie, but I loved it back in the day. Just the marketing was all up on that one. I got the scratch and sniff cards from Burger King, but I didn't even see the movie to use them. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. Okay. Lego Drum Racers. I had that on the PC. I have it now on the Game Boy Advance as well, and I have it on the GameCube, which I got it from a GameStop pretty cheaply. And so cheaply, it was on the site. I asked for a pickup in store. This is many years back. And it was a store I didn't usually go to, but was still able to drive to. When I got there, and when they gave me the game, it didn't have the case. It was in like one of those DS file folder CD cases, which is just paper. So like, all right, sure, I hope it doesn't scratch. It worked fine. Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Jet Fusion. I remember the special. I remember watching the show in general. I did not play the game. Although I did play other Jimmy Neutron games, like the one based on the movie, the Negatron game that was on PC, Attack of the Twonkies I own, but I don't remember much playing it. and I may have watched a special once or twice. Justice League Chronicles. Sure. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Sure. Batman Rise of Sinzu. Sure. Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey. I knew of the franchise. I don't know anything about it. Jet Grind Radio. This is a Jet Set game on the Game Boy Advance? I thought they just had the one in the Dreamcast. Huh. But sure. Digimon Battle Spirit 2. Sure. Yeah, this is kind of... a lot of these skips for me. I did not grow up with or did not know anything about. So there's not much I can say for them, and you just read the captions on your own. Hot Wheels World Race. I talked about it before. Breaking the Rules. I had the PC game. I don't know if I'd get it on other systems. I don't even know if it would be the same on other systems, like the SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron games prior. Onimusha Tactics. I hope I said that right. I don't know. The Incredible Hulk. Alright. Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. I know the Harvest Moon franchise. I have It's a Wonderful Life on the GameCube. But that's about it. Disney's Magical Quest 2 starring Mickey and Minnie. Sure. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. Sure. Super Duper Sumos. Oh no, I remember the show. The joke was they're fat. They had season episodes of just being fat. That's the joke. It was so bare bones. But it was also so big boned. Street Jam Basketball, sure. Road Rash Jailbreak. Okay. Ozzy and Drix. I remember Ozzy and Drix as a movie. I remember I didn't see it in the theaters, not that I remember. But I do remember seeing it on TV a couple times. Ultimate Muscle, Path of the Superhero. Okay. Mission Impossible, Operation Surma. Never watched a Mission Impossible movie until last year. And then I watched like 2 or 3 of them. Double Dragon Advance. I have the original Double Dragon. I don't know what else. I don't know what can be advanced from it. Attack on the Power of Juju. As I said before about the TV show. Freak Style with a K. No, with an E. Freak Style. Okay, you're being... This feels edgy. I don't know. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay. Corvette, Zero to Gone. Okay. And Backyard Hockey. So they had enough to put 2 more on a page, but not enough for the whole page. So they're like, yeah, let's just throw Sonic Spinball in there again. Alright. Legal information. I know you want to read all that. And there we go. That's the whole thing. This is a pretty meaty book. This is literally the entire generation for Nintendo, from handhelds to consoles. Granted, there are a lot more games than on each of those platforms, and probably a couple more accessories to boot. Like, Pokemon was not mentioned in here at all, which I find really incredible. Really incredible. They probably weren't released by that point, but still, I'm like, you're talking about the Game Boy, you're talking about the Game Boy Advance, and you don't mention one Pokemon title? Even the GameCube part of it didn't have a Pokemon title. And I could have sworn by that point they would have had Pokemon Coliseum at least, maybe Pokemon Channel at least. Like, heavy hitter Nintendo franchise. Not even here. That actually upsets me more than not knowing most of those games. That could have been wedged in so easily. But again, maybe it's a time period thing. Winter 2003. Maybe they weren't ready for it yet. I don't know. But also, this has been out since 01. One of these... These weren't brand new, as far as I can tell. As far as I remember. So it had to have offered something. I don't know. Even surprising to me was that they only mentioned one Mario game for the Game Boy Advance, and at that, it was Super Mario Advance 4. Like, people are supposed to believe, oh, there must be 3 other ones that I can play. Then again, you do have Mario, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga that was mentioned. I don't even know if they had Mario Spin or Mario Pinball Land by that point. Probably not. I don't know if they had Mario. What's the other one? Mario Super Circuit, Mario Kart Super Circuit. At that point, not sure. I don't know chronologically that closely. I'm just trying to think of other like bigger titles that would have been, that each of these systems are known for nowadays. Luigi's Mansion was a launch title. That wasn't in here at all. But maybe it's because it's a launch title. This is 2003. You're not really going to keep advertising about a game that's already been out, right? I don't know. It could be possible. But Pokemon Coliseum was hype. A lot of hype when that came out from me and others. And my brother. So three of us. What else was there? There was Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. I swear by that. It's my favorite generation. The one I was most invested for anything Pokemon, including the first. Like, first generation, I was definitely into it, except for the games. I was into the merchandise. I was into the N64 games. I was into the TV show. I was into the card games. But I didn't have the video game. Or I only had Yellow, as I said earlier, and could only play that on the N64 due to Pokemon Stadium. So, I don't know. And then, but like truly experiencing it on a handheld, and being able to link up with my brother to play it was Ruby and Sapphire. And then my brother got Emerald. We got Fire Red and Leaf Green sometime later, and I remember that one introduced a new thing, but I don't even know if it was even used that much. The wireless adapter. Like, you had a link cable, and link cables have already been a thing for quite a while. It almost felt superfluous to have a wireless adapter, but cool at the same time if you did. I mean, there are maybe one or two times I can think of where my brother and I were playing on the same game and the link cable snapped. Not like broke entirely, but just unplugged. But it wasn't really that often. I mean, we already knew, hey, we're going to sit close to each other playing this. No big deal. Wirelessly, okay, yeah, you get a little bit more distance if you need it, but still pretty close to play. I don't even know many other games that adapted that adapter, whether they included it in the package or were just compatible with it. It'd be fun to find out, though. And let me think, what else was great about the GameCube? Well, there's a bunch of games I can think of that were like multi-platform that I played on the GameCube, like Shrek 2, Nicktoons Unite, SpongeBob SquarePants, Lights Camera Pants. There were a few interesting first-party titles like Donkey Konga 2 that I played on there with the bongos. Well, not the authentic bongos. It was like Pelican brand or something like that. Like an off-brand, but pretty much did the same job. Bongos. So one of the first music games I played on there, first rhythm games ever, was on the GameCube. There's a lot of other stuff. I definitely will talk about more of all of this and my memories with these platforms and systems sometime later, as well as the collections of them, what I grew up with, what I adapted later, if I have any other thoughts to share about those games, individually. But for now, this was fun to look through. It's a pretty beefy book. We're giving you a lot of information for every single object. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well, even though we had a few interruptions. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. And I don't know how many other ones of these that I have, whether from back in the day or even more recent ones or even more beefy ones. But this felt special to me. This is a special bit of my video game collection that I'm happy to still have, even though all the information you could basically find online and more. But this was still cool that something like this was produced back in the day, and probably multiple of them, to get people hyped about this generation of Nintendo. So, take care. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. And be sure to check out Maniac for Bricks more for more video game and other hobby stuff. I will have some more stuff coming up on this channel in the near future. I can't guarantee how near, but I've been planning stuff for a while as far as video game content on here. And very particular stuff. So that's as much as I'll give you. Like, I have things already scripted for like more than a year that I've been planning for this channel. If you want to check out some of them that have already been on this channel before, you can check out Gamecube. That's all I'll leave you with. And have a good day.